Meghan Markle is back in the spotlight, but this time, it's not for another glamorous photo op or new podcast episode. Nope, this is far messier. Meghan has stepped into a new business world, the hospitality industry. Sounds like a harmless move, right? Well, not quite. What seemed like a fun, fresh project has now exploded into a royal headache. Here's where it gets juicy. Meghan reportedly slapped her royal title, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, onto business gifts. You read that right. She used the very title Queen Elizabeth asked her not to use when she and Harry decided to take a step back from their royal duties. The Queen made it clear, keep the title, but don't flaunt it. But Meghan, it seems, didn't quite get the memo. Now King Charles has seen enough, and let's just say, he's not happy about it. Imagine the scene inside the palace. Charles, who's worked hard to keep things smooth and tidy, is fuming. He's watching Meghan's every move, and he's starting to wonder if it's time to take action. After all, when you've been given a royal promise and it's being broken left and right, you can't just sit back anymore. Meghan's latest business move might just be the final straw. King Charles has been watching Meghan's every move from the sidelines, hoping it would all blow over. For a while, he stayed quiet, taking the high road. After all, the royal family is no stranger to maintaining appearances. But now, Charles' patience is wearing dangerously thin. What was supposed to be a simple royal compromise, a title that stays but only used in private, has spiraled into a full-blown PR disaster. Meghan's constant use of HRH, the Duchess of Sussex, in her business ventures, on gift tags, and across her social media, has not only been a slap in the face to the monarchy, it's a direct violation of the deal she agreed to when she and Harry stepped back from royal life. The promise was clear, keep the title, but don't flaunt it for personal gain. And yet, here she is, wielding it like a badge of honor for every new venture and post. Charles isn't blind to this. It's one thing to bend the rules here and there, but this feels like crossing a line. Meghan's actions are sending a message that she doesn't respect the very compromise that was made, and it's slowly turning into a punch in the gut to the royal family. The deal was meant to protect the monarchy's image and ensure they could move forward without all the drama. But instead, it's starting to look like Meghan's business moves are built on the back of the very royal brand she claimed to want to leave behind. Now, the king is in a tough spot. His silence has been interpreted as weakness, and the more Meghan uses her royal status, the harder it becomes to pretend that everything is fine. Charles is left watching the monarchy's carefully cultivated image slowly slip away, bit by bit, royal title by royal title. As the royal drama unfolds, it's clear that the frustration inside the palace is growing. One voice that's speaking up loud and clear is Grant Harold, King Charles' former butler. Grant, who has spent years in close proximity to the royal family, isn't mincing words. He didn't hesitate to say that Meghan's latest business attempt is doomed to fail. But here's the kicker. It's not just about her questionable business sense. No, it's deeper than that. Grant's warning points to something far more serious, the subtle weaponization of royal status. Meghan, by continuously slapping HRH onto her brand, is essentially turning her royal past into a marketing tool. And let's be clear, it's not just a casual mistake or oversight. She's well aware of the power that comes with the Duchess of Sussex label, and she's using it to open doors and elevate her ventures, from business deals to personal branding. Each time she uses HRH, whether it's on a business gift or an Instagram post, she's leveraging the monarchy for personal gain. What's even more frustrating to those within the palace is how Meghan is blurring the lines between public and private life, using her royal title as a kind of marketing cheat code. She's not just a former royal, she's a royal in exile who still understands the value of her royal status, so much so that she's willing to use it to attract attention, credibility, and ultimately, profit. And it's becoming increasingly clear that this isn't just about a few branding mishaps. It's a direct challenge to the institution she once claimed to love, but is now distancing herself from. This isn't a simple breach of royal protocol. It's far more damaging. By using the title for personal gain, Meghan is sending a message that the monarchy's reputation is something to be exploited for her benefit. That's a dangerous game. And for King Charles, who is trying to preserve the integrity of the monarchy, it's a threat to everything the royal family stands for. The institution is built on rules, tradition, and respect. And when that's compromised for personal ambition, it chips away at the foundation of it all. Inside the palace, it's clear. Meghan's actions are starting to feel less like innocent mistakes and more like a deliberate strategy. She's playing a calculated game, and it's beginning to unravel the trust that was placed in her and Harry when they agreed to step back. And now, as this royal drama continues to unfold, Charles is faced with a choice. Let this slow erosion of royal values continue, or take decisive action to protect the crown's integrity before it's too late. Despite all the talk about rejecting royal life, Meghan Markle's actions are beginning to tell a very different story. She may claim to have moved on from the monarchy, but when you look closely, it's clear she's still clinging to it, specifically to the titles. It's almost as if she can't let go of the very things she once criticized. Whether it's on business correspondence, social media shoutouts, or even personalized gifts, Meghan is consistently branding herself with the royal cachet of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. It's not just a title, it's a tool she's using to carve out a name for herself in the world outside of the palace. But here's where it gets fascinating. Meghan's obsession with these titles highlights a deep contradiction in her persona. On one hand, she talks about independence, about stepping away from the royal family and forging her own path. She's positioned herself as someone who's breaking free from the shackles of royal duty, someone who is defining her future on her own terms. Yet, on the other hand, she's still clinging to the very identity she claims to have left behind. Every time she uses the HRH title, she's reminding everyone that no matter how far she runs, she can't escape the royal brand she built her identity on. What's even more interesting is how Meghan seems to use her royal title as a form of validation. It's as if she believes that the title itself carries weight, that it gives her projects and ventures an instant sense of credibility. But here's the twist. It's not just about the title for Meghan, it's about the perception. She wants people to remember her as royalty, even if she's no longer playing by the royal rules. In a way, the title is not just a symbol of her past. It's part of her strategy to build a future that still ties her to the allure of royalty. Every public appearance, every promotional post, every piece of branded merchandise carrying HRH is a calculated move, one that makes it clear she is more than just a former royal. She's a former royal with a brand that still gets her attention. She's turned her royal identity into a business asset, using it to gain access to audiences, businesses, and opportunities that would otherwise be out of reach. But this isn't just about business, is it? This is about something much deeper. Meghan's obsession with the titles signals that she hasn't fully let go of the royal life. It's almost like she's trying to have the best of both worlds, claiming independence and breaking free, while at the same time, holding on to the very thing that made her famous in the first place. It's a tough line to walk, and it's starting to raise questions about whether her quest for personal success is a true reflection of independence or just a new chapter in the same royal playbook. For Meghan, the titles aren't just a piece of royal history. They're part of her brand, her identity, and ultimately her future. But here's the reality. The more she clings to them, the more it undermines the very independence she claims to champion. The more she uses them to get ahead in the world, the more it makes her look like she's still playing the royal game, only on her own terms. And that contradiction is starting to catch up with her, especially as King Charles and the royal family are forced to reckon with the fact that Meghan's brand is now built on an identity she promised to leave behind. And what about Prince Harry? The man who once seemed destined to reshape the royal family's image now finds himself quietly watching as the drama surrounding Meghan intensifies. It's no secret that Harry is reportedly uncomfortable with some of Meghan's actions, but here's the catch. He's saying nothing. His silence, as loud as it may seem, speaks volumes. For someone who's been in the public eye his entire life, this retreat into silence is not just puzzling, it's telling. In many ways, Harry has become a passive participant in a story that once starred him. He's not stepping up to guide the narrative or even take a stand in defense of the royal family. Instead, he's fading into the background, letting the spectacle unfold without intervening. There's a sense that he's torn, caught between his loyalty to Meghan and the legacy of the royal family he was born into. He's found himself in a place where he's too far removed to return to the life he once knew, yet too deeply invested in Meghan's journey to fully step away. And that's where things get complicated. Harry's silence isn't just the absence of words. It's become a powerful statement in itself. Every time Meghan pushes the boundaries, every time she uses her royal title for personal gain, Harry remains on the sidelines, watching as if he's a mere spectator in the story of his own life. It's a painful shift to witness, especially for a prince who was once known for his sense of duty, his outspokenness, and his connection to the people. Now he's the silent observer, seemingly unable or unwilling to confront the reality of the situation. The truth is, Harry seems to be caught in a balancing act that's tearing him apart. On one side, there's Meghan, his wife, who he has pledged to support through everything, even when it means stepping away from the royal family. But on the other side, there's the royal family, the family that raised him, shaped him, and gave him a life that millions of people across the world still dream about. And here's where the real tension lies. Harry has always been caught in the middle, trying to carve out his own identity while still holding on to his family legacy. Now, that legacy seems to be slipping through his fingers. This is where the tragedy lies. Harry is becoming a shadow in his own story. He's not the man making bold decisions or taking charge of his own narrative. Instead, he's been relegated to the background, a passive figure in the drama that's been unfolding around him. And with every passing moment, the man who once seemed destined for greatness is now being overshadowed by the very person he vowed to support. It's heartbreaking to think that Harry, who was once so loved for his rebellious spirit and his determination to change the royal family for the better, is now a silent spectator in a life he seems to have little control over. But what's the cost of this silence? By staying quiet, Harry is allowing Meghan's every move to define their future. He's watching as she uses the royal title they both promised to leave behind, and he's standing by as the very family he was once a part of gets dragged through the mud. Is he truly powerless? Or is this just a sign of his own inner conflict, a man stuck between two worlds and unsure which one to choose? In the end, Harry is no longer the bold prince who could change the world with his actions. Now, he's the silent man, caught between love and duty, loyalty and family, unsure of what role he should play in the drama he helped create. As if the jam labels weren't enough, Meghan decided to raise the stakes even higher. In a move that shocked both the public and the palace, she reposted a letter from a Ukrainian official on her Instagram account. What's the problem, you ask? The letter referred to her as HRH, a title she's not supposed to be using publicly. This wasn't a simple slip-up or an innocent oversight. It was a carefully calculated move, one that sent a very clear message. Meghan was making it known, loud and clear, that as long as HRH exists, she would use it, publicly, and she didn't care who noticed, including King Charles. This wasn't just about a letter. This was Meghan using social media to flex her royal status in a way that was impossible to ignore. It wasn't a private conversation or a behind-the-scenes moment. It was all out there for her millions of followers to see. The public got a glimpse of exactly what Meghan has been doing all along, leveraging her royal title as a tool to boost her image and credibility, no matter how many promises she made to leave it behind. And here's the kicker. Charles noticed, and so did everyone else. The royal family once again had to watch as Meghan blatantly ignored the very guidelines set in place when she and Harry stepped down from their royal duties. It wasn't just a minor infraction. It was a slap in the face to the rules that were put in place to protect the monarchy's reputation. By making it public, Meghan wasn't just quietly undermining the system. She was throwing down a challenge. What's more interesting is the timing. This wasn't just a random post or a one-off mistake. Meghan reposted the letter at a time when the eyes of the world were already on her for her business ventures, her constant use of HRH, and her growing influence. She knew exactly what she was doing. This wasn't about honoring a Ukrainian official. It was about sending a message to the public and to the palace that the titles still mattered to her, and she was going to keep using them to her advantage. The stakes had never been higher. By making a bold statement like this, Meghan was reminding everyone that she still has ties to royalty, whether they like it or not. And while she might have felt justified in sharing the letter, the fallout was immediate. This wasn't a small misstep. It was a calculated power play that could change the course of everything. For Charles, it's another warning sign that his royal family may be at risk of being dragged into a brand game that undermines the very foundation of the monarchy. And for Meghan, it's a signal that she's not backing down, no matter what the royal family says or does. For years, King Charles has carefully walked the fine line between diplomacy and action. Behind closed doors, he's watched Meghan's actions with increasing concern, all while maintaining a calm public demeanor. The palace, hoping for a resolution or an end to the Sussex drama, remained silent, believing the controversy would eventually fizzle out. But now, the situation has escalated beyond what anyone could have predicted. Meghan is no longer tiptoeing around the rules. She's blatantly pushing the boundaries, testing how far she can go before someone finally calls her out. With every new business venture, every social media post flaunting HRH, Meghan seems to be daring the royal family to do something. The quiet agreements, the behind-the-scenes negotiations, the hope that things might go back to normal, It's all unraveling. And now, Charles is facing a very clear question. Does he continue to let this slide, or does he take decisive action to preserve the integrity of the monarchy? Stripping Meghan of her HRH title is no longer just an option on the table. It's becoming the only viable solution. For Charles, this isn't just about following protocol or enforcing rules. It's about protecting the very institution he represents. The royal family is built on tradition, trust, and a carefully curated image. Each time Meghan uses her royal title in public or for business purposes, she chips away at that image. It's more than just a personal matter. It's a direct attack on the monarchy's credibility, one that cannot be ignored much longer. But here's where it gets complicated. Taking such a drastic step, removing Meghan's HRH title, would be a bold move, perhaps too bold for someone who has spent his life trying to avoid confrontation. It's a decision that would send shockwaves through the royal family and the public. On one hand, Charles risks creating even more tension with his son and daughter-in-law. On the other, he risks further damaging the monarchy's standing if he continues to turn a blind eye to the blatant disregard for the rules. Charles's dilemma is simple but monumental. Act now and risk the fallout, or continue to let Meghan push the envelope, hoping that one day she will stop on her own. The stakes are high. The monarchy's reputation, already under scrutiny, hangs in the balance. If he does nothing, it sends a message that the rules don't matter, that the royal family is just a brand to be used as one sees fit. If he does act, it sets a precedent for holding royals accountable, but it also opens up a whole new chapter in royal history, one where a member of the family could lose their title over their actions. For Charles, this is a defining moment. His reign, still in its early stages, is being tested in ways no one could have anticipated. Will he stand firm and take the necessary action to restore the monarchy's dignity? Or will he let this simmer, hoping it will blow over? Either way, the consequences will be significant, and no matter which path he chooses, Charles will have to live with the outcome for the rest of his reign. And here's where things get really interesting. Charles holds the power to end this chapter with a single stroke of the pen. Stripping Meghan of her HRH title is not some complicated, drawn-out process. It doesn't require an act of parliament or a lengthy legal battle, just a royal signature. One decisive move, and Meghan's ties to the royal family could be completely severed. That's it. The title that's been at the center of so much drama could vanish as easily as it appeared. But here's the catch. This isn't just about removing a title. It's about what that title represents. Meghan's HRH has become more than just a label. It's a symbol. It's what's allowed her to market herself as Royal Meghan, while distancing herself from the very responsibilities that come with it. Without HRH, the royal brand she's carefully built begins to crumble. The carefully crafted illusion of Royal Meghan fades, and she's left standing as just Meghan, the woman behind the name, without the titles, without the royal cachet. And that's where the real power lies. Without her HRH, Meghan isn't the Duchess of Sussex anymore. She's simply a woman trying to make a name for herself in the world, without the privileges and the mystique that come with being a royal. All of a sudden, the playing field is leveled. The royal connection, the status, the influence, everything that's been woven into her personal brand disappears. It's not just a loss of a title, it's the loss of a carefully curated identity. For Meghan, the implications of this are massive. She's built her entire brand on the back of her royal status, using it to gain access to high-profile deals, businesses, and audiences. Without it, what does she have left? Without HRH, Meghan becomes vulnerable. Her ventures, which have been leveraging royal branding, suddenly lose their shine. No more Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex on gift labels or business cards. No more royal allure to enhance her lifestyle brand. She's just Meghan Markle, no different than any other celebrity trying to make a name in a crowded world. For Charles, taking away the HRH title would be a bold move. It would send a strong message that the royal family is serious about its traditions, rules, and boundaries. It would say that no one, no matter how famous, can use the monarchy's name for personal gain without consequences. And while this would be a dramatic break from the past, it could also be the moment Charles shows that his reign will be defined by strength and consistency, not by bending the rules to avoid conflict. The symbolism of removing the title would be clear. The monarchy's power doesn't come from titles alone. It comes from the respect and responsibility attached to those titles. And once that respect is gone, so is the power. Meghan would be left with nothing but her own name. And in a world that thrives on royal connections, that's a huge shift. And now, the public is starting to weigh in, and the backlash is getting louder. People are growing tired of Meghan and Harry profiting from a royal status they've supposedly turned their backs on. It's become increasingly clear to the public that the Sussexes may have rejected royal duties, But they've certainly found a way to keep cashing in on the royal brand. The problem? The public isn't buying it anymore. The more Meghan uses her HRH title to promote her business ventures, whether it's jam, lifestyle brands, or social media posts, the more it feels like the monarchy is being turned into a product to be sold, rather than an institution to be respected. This isn't just about one or two questionable decisions. It's about the larger picture, the integrity of the crown itself. Meghan and Harry's actions are making the monarchy look less like a centuries-old institution based on tradition and responsibility, and more like a commodity to be marketed and exploited for personal gain. The constant use of royal titles in business dealings isn't just an innocent mistake. It's a deliberate strategy to keep the royal connection alive, all while stepping away from the responsibilities and duties that come with it. And the public isn't dumb. People can see through the smoke and mirrors, and they're starting to feel like they're watching a royal soap opera play out in real time. It's no longer a matter of personal freedom. It's about fairness and about the values the monarchy represents. For Charles and the royal family, this growing discontent from the public is the real crisis. While the Sussexes may be building their own empire, the monarchy's reputation is on the line. If the public continues to feel like Meghan and Harry are using their royal ties as a cash cow, the royal family risks losing the respect it's spent generations building. This isn't just about personal vendettas or family drama. It's about the way the monarchy is perceived by the very people who keep it relevant. And right now, the public is getting tired of the act. This moment is the ultimate test of King Charles' authority. For years, he's played the diplomat, taking the high road, trying to keep the peace and avoid further family drama. But now, that silence is starting to do more harm than good. As the Sussexes continue to push the boundaries, Charles finds himself caught between maintaining royal tradition and protecting the monarchy's reputation. His quiet patience has been seen as strength by some, but now it's at risk of undermining everything the monarchy stands for. The time has come for Charles to make a decision, one that will shape the future of the royal family. Stripping Meghan of her HRH title would be a bold move, but it's not about exacting revenge or settling personal scores. It's about holding her, and by extension, anyone else who thinks they can exploit royal titles for personal gain, accountable. This isn't just about Meghan. It's about sending a message to the world that the monarchy isn't a brand to be milked for fame and fortune. The royal family's credibility and authority depend on maintaining its integrity, and when that's threatened, action must be taken. The pressure is mounting, and it's only a matter of time before Charles has to make his move. Will he continue to walk the diplomatic tightrope, hoping the drama will eventually fade? Or will he take a stand, drawing a firm line in the sand to protect the monarchy's legacy and power? This decision will define the rest of his reign. It's not just about the Sussexes, it's about the future of the monarchy itself, and whether it will be allowed to evolve with dignity or devolve into a brand, one more spectacle to be consumed by the public. Charles stands at a critical crossroads. The future of the monarchy now rests on his ability to protect its integrity and uphold the traditions that have defined it for centuries. In a world where titles and public images are constantly under fire, this moment could shape the entire future of the royal family. The question is clear. Will Charles choose to stand firm, enforcing the rules that have always been the backbone of the monarchy? Or will he allow the lines between royal duty and personal ambition to become even more blurred? If he doesn't act, the monarchy risks losing the very values that give it power and respect. This decision won't just impact Meghan and Harry, it will set the tone for the entire royal family moving forward. Charles has a chance to show that, despite modern pressures, the monarchy still stands for something bigger. The world is watching, and what happens next will echo through history.